BlogTalk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to this program about your Kundalini awakening experiences. I would like you to visualize that pyramid, and I'd like you to visualize yourself facing that pyramid. As you face the pyramid, I want you to notice that this gold and silver pyramid is literally composed of steps. Unlike the Egyptian pyramids, which have a certain area just for steps, this pyramid has steps that you can literally walk all the way around the pyramid on any step that you happen to be on. So it's literally a ginormous, huge pyramid that is composed entirely of steps. And I would like to step on that first step right now, and I'd like you to turn to the left. As you face the pyramid, I'd like you to turn to the left, and I'd like to talk about a foundation of divine intervention within the Kundalini awakening that everybody will experience. Kundalini is the divine. It is God. It is Allah. It is Jesus. It is Buddha. It is any of the male or female deities. It is Mother Nature. It is the Mother Earth, Father Sky. Kundalini is that consciousness of divinity that we all have at the base of our spine, on the last three vertebrae of our spine, as a dormant level of energetic awareness, guiding us, helping us, and within a small percentage of the population, awakening itself within us and bringing us into greater levels of spiritual awareness, of spiritual oneness with itself being that divine consciousness. So as we're walking around the pyramid there on that first step, and we can see the gleaming silver gold, almost like an iridescent quality of silver gold on that first step. And of course, off to the right, as you look up into the clouds, that pyramid just continues to go up, 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 and up. And as we walk around casually, and off to our left now is Mother Earth and Father Sky, and you might see the sun in the sky, or if you're in Ireland or anywhere away from the sun, you'll see stars in the sky, or the moon, depending on where you are in the world right now. And as you take that casual walk, this isn't a fast New York City or London or Moscow or New Delhi type of walk. You're not going to work. You're not getting into the car, getting the kids fed, getting everybody dressed, you're not in a rush. And you're very serene here. You have a strong level of serenity around you, a very contemplative attitude that your consciousness is now expressing. Because right now, you're reaching inward to your divine connection through its awakening and activated state within you, through the Kundalini activated and awakening within you. And I know for a lot of you, the Kundalini is bombastic, and it is throwing you into a flurry of panic, and you're wondering what the heck you should do, and your counselors do this, and your spiritual guide is saying do that, and the MDs are going, don't do anything, just take this drug, and society is saying, oh, that doesn't really exist, it's just a level of psychosis. You're all wrapped up into this hurricane, this upper hurricane in a lower whirlpool of worry and doubt and fear, and you're struggling, and you don't need to be. For those of you that have had the Kundalini a little bit longer, you know what I'm talking about. You know, as you have survived the initial impact of having divine consciousness awaken within you, that you can relax, that you can be serene. As a matter of fact, the best way to communicate with your Kundalini is through serenity, through the serene reception. Sorry about that. Oh boy, I didn't do that. Turn this thing off. That's my phone ringing there as we walk around the pyramid. You might want to turn all your cell phones off. Turn all your cell phones off. Turn your iPads off and your other kind of pads off, and just don't have any of those things around you right now. Have none of those things around you. Have none of them on. The only thing you really need, I take that back. If you're listening to this program on an iPad or iPhone or a smartphone or some sort of other smart pad or your computer, then you'll have to leave that on, and you'll just have to kind of filter out those phone calls if they're coming through for you. Serenity is the best way to communicate with the Kundalini. Serenity is a very interesting expression that a person can have. There's not a lot of fierce qualities going. There's not a lot of competition going. There's not a lot of fear or want of gain or fear of loss or anything of that nature. Serenity is almost like a divine expression that everybody, awakened or activated or not, has the ability to go into. And as you go into the serene and you begin to walk around your pyramid, I just want you to look off to the left and see Mother Earth and Father Sky, Father Cosmos. And I want you to take steps gently and calmly and contemplatively. Think about what it is you're doing. Realize that you're walking around a huge pyramid with the top that disappears into the clouds. And you're on that very first step. And it's not a first step meaning that, oh, you're such a beginner. It's just a first step meaning that you're the closest to life here. You're wearing the body of life that this earth has provided you, and that the divine within you has provided for you to learn and advance your soul with, and to help others advance their soul with. And so, being on the first step is really being in a position closest to life, rather than, putting it within an egotistic context of being, it's just, oh gosh, this is, I'm such a rank beginner, I shouldn't even be allowed to walk. Not that. It's nothing like that at all. It's just that the first step is that which is the base of the pyramid. And the base of the pyramid you might see as that which connects itself through your tailbone to your pelvis. Okay? If you can imagine the tip of your tailbone being a pyramid and having its extension all the way down to the base of your pelvis, well, that is where the base of divine Kundalini connects with the earth of your body. And well, this pyramid that you're envisioning right now, its base is connected to the earth that is you. So I wonder if that's as clear as mud. I'm going to ask the people here on the chat room. Is that as clear as mud for anybody there? Are we understanding this? So perhaps somebody there might write in a little bit. But yeah, that's what it is. It's where the actual divine merges itself with the earth, with the coarse, unrefined vibratory field of the earth, the density of the earth. This is what it means. And this is why you're walking on that first step. This is totally why you're walking on that first step. Doesn't mean you're a beginner. I mean, You could be the greatest yogi, the greatest spiritual leader of whatever sect. You could be, a human ascended, and you would still want to walk on that first step, going to the left around that pyramid as you face the pyramid, going to the left. And so it's like being on a country road. The fact that you're on a road doesn't mean that you're a beginner or that you've been in it for 1,000 years. The road is helping you follow a path, and this first step is also helping you follow a path of serenity, a path of direct communication with the divine within you. So I really want you to hear these words. Hear these words. Feel the serenity come up within you. Feel the calmness. For those of you that are in Europe right now, well, it's fairly late in the evening, like 12 or 1 in the morning, or, the further west you go is like maybe 11 or 12 at night. And I think that after your day, you can feel that level of serenity as your body consciousness knows that soon, quite soon, you'll be going to sleep. And that sleep serenity will open itself and cover you in its grace. But right now, before you go to sleep, I want you to consciously go with an wakeful consciousness choice into serenity. It's like stretching your hand out to God and Goddess and saying, hey, I want to touch you. I want to give you my respect and my love and my attention. And I'm ready to hear what you have to say to me, through me, for me. So as you walk around the pyramid on that very first step, going to the left, and you see, as you go to the left, the earth and the sky. I want you to feel the serenity of contemplation. You don't have to look all the way around you. You can kind of just look at that step and just kind of like think about serenity and kind of enjoy that sensation, that feeling of serenity. You can kind of enjoy that. You might hear me moving around here as it's like Amara, the dinosaur dog, is coming up for us. So just continue walking. Think about what brought you here, why you're here doing this. When did the activation occur? When was that first spinal sweep that you experienced? What were you doing? What were you thinking? Did it come out of the blue for you? Or have you been meditating for, many, many years? Are you in a deep level of spiritual or religious practice? What happened to you? How would you want this to come for those of you that aren't activated or awakened yet? How would you want this to work for you? And how are you willing to work for it? Think about these things as you walk that base, that cool and kind of slightly vibratory first step that encircles the pyramid. I see it clearly. It reminds me of moonstone in a way, with little sparkles of gold and silver at the same time. Breathe deeply through your nose as you do this. Just really begin to open to the communication of the divine. Remember when the divine first made its appearance, known by your ego consciousness within you. Some of you had a really strong spinal sweep where your head was thrown back and you were convulsed and it looked like you were having a grand mal seizure, but it felt so good and it felt so perfect and it felt so right and it felt beyond words, beyond human expression as you merged with that which is the creator of all, as you merged with God, as you merged with divinity. Remember that time. Remember that time. But don't listen to the telephone that's going to continue to ring here. I don't have control over that telephone. There it goes. Some of you may have had a teacher. Some of you may have had a teacher that helped you with your meditation and helped you with the many different steps that we take as we engage a spiritual practice or a deeply religious practice. And I want you to subconsciously give them an expression of gratitude for the work that they have done with you. Even if you didn't leave on good terms, even if you felt like you had to move on to another teacher or, move on to a different belief system altogether, thank those beginning people with you. I remember when I was 5, some of my friends that lived in the same neighborhood, they said, hey, we're all going to go down to this lady's house that lives 3 houses beyond Sarah Chamberlain's house. And we're going to go and she's going to show us stuff in her backyard. So we all gathered there and sat down on chairs that she provided. And she had a kind of like a big easel, like you put a large painting on an easel there. And on it, she had drawn pictures. And she was a Christian type of person. And she was proselytizing Christianity to the 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds there on the street, on the block. And she mentioned streets of gold and other various things that really were quite meaningless to me. I remember a beaver. She mentioned, she showed us a picture of a beaver, Mr. and Mrs. Beaver building the beaver house and things of that level. And if you had someone in your life begin to expose you to the various formats of spiritual study here on this world, bring them an expression of gratitude, a thank you, a soft, silent serenity thank you as you continue to walk around the base of your pyramid. These were your first levels teachings of the true course and reason of why you're even on this earth and in this body. And continue your walk, your stately, contemplative, serene walk around the base of this amazing pyramid that is your Kundalini awakening equation. Continue that walk. And as you remember your first teacher, continue onward to the other teachers that you've had in your life before this current moment. And give them also an expression of gratitude, an expression of grace as they taught and helped you on your path. Give them that thank you. And bring it all the way up into the last teacher in your life before your Kundalini awakened. This may even be your current teacher right now. And give them a thank you for the efforts and the information and the assistance that they have given you in your life, in your spiritual life. And now, after you've done that, thank yourself too. Give yourself some gratitude for being able to answer the compelling of what it takes to have a spiritual practice, a spiritual belief system, and the ability to follow it. Most of the time, you don't get paid for these things. You're not getting paid to do your yoga every morning. You're not getting paid to pray. You're not getting paid to meditate. You're not getting paid to do any of these types of practices, these inner world practices, and so it's a special person that can devote this level of quality time into an endeavor that does not put food on the table or pay the rent or put gas in the car or any of that type of thing. It's a very, very special individual that can do this type of work. And it may not feel that way to you, but, to other people that would never dream, and this is like most of the population, they would never dream of doing that. They either have to focus so very hard on finding food because they're just an inch from starvation, that's where their whole attention rests, or they're so deep within the power structure that getting more is more important than anything else, and so they don't really look at any kind of the inner refinement opportunities that we have as we walk on this Kundalini path, and so you might want to look at yourself and see the grace of person that you are, and that's a person that you are becoming. And now, as you thank yourself, thank divinity as well. However you see divine being to be, you might have a name: Allah, Jesus, Mary, Kuan Yin, Buddha, Zoroastrian, Ahura Mazda, Mother Earth, Father Sky. Thank the divine in your life. Thank the expression of the divine. Thank the divine for the body that you're wearing, for the food, the compressed levels of life that you consume, the minerals, the plants, the insects, the animals, the fish, the birds, the air that you breathe, the water, earth, air, sun, the fire, the ice. Thank God for all of these things. Thank Goddess for all of these spiritual creations. Gratitude is very powerful. And as you've been walking around your pyramid and in embracing your gratitude at the base of your pyramid, that gratitude has been accelerating up the pyramid as well. For you to have the strongest level of communication with your Kundalini, you really need to embrace the gratitude that allows you to understand your level of appreciation for what has and is being given to you. This is a big deal. People ask about the Secret, right? The Secret, this book that was written about getting what it is you want. Well, you're not going to get what you want until you're willing to give. Give of yourself. Give of your love. Give of the divine expression that is within you. And it doesn't mean that you know yourself so well that you understand your karma. You just trust that you understand it enough in order to give that gratitude. It's not common to know everything that you need to know about yourself. Especially in the West, where we don't even consider the understandings of karma. We're so wrapped up in the scientific method and torturing small animals in order to prove a theorem to ourselves about whether this toothpaste works or not. So we put 7,000 times the human dosage of toothpaste into the mouth of a rabbit and watch how it responds. This is the level of consciousness that we're around a lot of the time here in the West. And so for those of you that aren't, shall we say, addicted to those qualities, allow yourself to feel that gratitude that you can see over and above and through the paradigm of ignorance that still covers our awareness of and gratitude of the grace that we have and that we are. All right. Just wanted you to feel that today. And I'm going to bring my co-host up here. This is a person who is the creator of this radio show, and I want to extend my gratitude to her for the creation of this radio show and for the nurturing of this radio show as well. She has been taking a bit of a break off of the Facebook and some of the other groups as of late, but you always know when she's here because she makes all that noise when she turns herself red. That's it, Tara. Jeez Louise.
Oh,
what
my
an
goodness. I just moved my phone. You're quite right. Chrism, I'm still on the base of the step. I'm still on the base of the pyramid before you talk to me. Okay. I'm coming back. It's good to be here. Thank you. That was really an experience. This month, it's 10 years since I had my awakening experience. So I am very much contemplating that. Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday month.
And I have something around my neck that I actually bought because it happened to me in Corfu, and I bought this red and blue pendant that I absolutely had to have. I found it on the last day of our holiday, and it's sparkly and it's beautiful, and I had absolutely no idea of the symbolism of that when I bought it, and I've been wearing it for the last few days as a reminder and as a gratitude for, what occurred and what I've been blessed with. So listening to you there was just wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but none of this is scripted. There's no script. It's just basically coming to me amidst all the interruptions that I have here. Anara, the huge German Shepherd, she comes up and she sticks her nose right onto the computer and looks at me and saying, pet me, Chrism, pet me. I'm ready now.
Yeah.
And then the phone is ringing here, and it's actually quite calm here, though, but it just doesn't sound that way at the moment, I guess. It's really hot, though. Oh, my gosh, it's like so hot here.
Chrism, I read somewhere on one day when I opened my emails that the flowers are magnificent in California because your drought is over. Is that the case?
Oh yeah. We had like over 100% of the normal rainfall. We had like 170% of our normal rainfall. And so all the reservoirs are full, and the glaciers on top of the Sierras, on top of Mount Shasta, are in good shape right now. It's really hot, and so some of that snow is melting now, and so the water coming down the mountains is just pure snow melt water. It's really nice, and I just love to be there right now, actually.
Go! Yeah. So, so thank you to be reminded of the serenity and the gratitude as well. Thank you very much, because they go hand in hand too, I feel,
Yeah, yeah.
So
The more gratitude you have, the more serene you'll feel.
yes, even gratitude when, there is that turbulence or that hurricane, that
Sure,
does come to
sure.
visit. I think what you said about at the beginning, you said, for people who have been through that and have survived, that
Mm.
that is such a wonderful thing, because you know that no matter what comes or what's given, that you can trust it so much easier when it has happened already.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
You got reference points for it. It makes it a lot easier for sure.
yes,
Yeah,
it does.
absolutely.
It does for sure.
Absolutely.
So
Now I want to give
okay,
out just hang on a second. I want to give out the guest call-in number for anybody that would like to call in. The number is area code 347-934-0026. If you're calling from a different country, you just put a 01 in front of that, I believe. Is that right, Amelia? 01?
yeah, yes, it's one. I
So
think
that would be,
Chrism.
well, from a 01, you'd go 01, then 347-934-0026. And we'd be happy to bring you on the air with your question about the Kundalini Awakening experience that you may be having. And so there you have it. Once again, it's 01 and then 347-934-0026. And I just want to put that out there for people. And you were going to say something,
Yeah.
Kunkarna.
Well, just to continue there, if you've got a Skype account, it is really cheap to Skype in, and you just click United States of America, and then you put in the 347. And it won't even cost $1 or €1. It just costs me €2 for the whole 2 hours. So if you're just ringing in on your Skype account with credit in it, it might cost you less than €1 for a call, So I'd encourage people to do that, because it means you can ring from anywhere in the world, and it's very cheap.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, definitely do that, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely do that. Go ahead.
I'd like to also give people the place they can go to make a donation. And I would encourage you, if you are in a position to do that, to make a donation, please do so. It's very gratefully received. It's put to, really good use. It's worked hard. So all donations, small donations, all add up. And so all of them are gratefully received. Please don't ever feel, your donation is too small. It is not. So if you want to make a donation, and you can make a donation, you're very welcome to do so. You can go to two sites. You can go to the safety site, which is www.kundalinisafeties.com, and there's a donate button there. And it's down at the bottom. You might it's not so much a donate button, but it says there's words. So you just check that out. And there's a donate button on the blog spot, and that's www.chrism-kundalini.blogspot.com. And you can make a donation there. So that's the donation. And I'll just also let you know about the seminar that's happening in September, that's happening in Berlin. And Manisha is organizing that. So thank you, Manisha. And this will be the second time she's done that. And it was a wonderful success the first time. So if you've already attended, please come back again. And if you haven't, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to meet Chrism. He doesn't come that often to Europe. Once a year, this year, the opportunity is to see him in Berlin in September, 15, 16, and 17th of September. And you also get the opportunity to meet other people who are going through a Kundalini process. And that's very special, because for most of us, whether we're in a situation in our family that's supportive or not supportive, there's nothing like meeting other people who are going through the same process. It's very, very special. So I would really encourage you, if you're in Europe, it's so easy to get to Berlin, guys, and it's still quite a few months off. So you could start maybe, putting a few bob aside, and if you feel in any way called to meet with Chrism, if you're reading his teachings on the group, I'd really encourage you to meet him in person. When I ask the questions that he answered, from the group here, he's able to talk more about them and expand on his answers. Well, when you meet him in person at a seminar, my goodness, what you will receive is priceless. So really, come and meet him in person, come into that radiance, come and experience what your own Kundalini within you is communicating to you. It's so helpful. I cannot emphasize how helpful it is to do this. So 15th, 16th and 17th of September, you can go onto Facebook, and there is a group there called Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism, and Manisha's email address is on that, Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. Scroll down and you will find the information there about Berlin. I would love to meet you, and Chrism would love to meet you, Manisha would love to meet you, and all the people that are going to attend. It's going to be a big gathering, guys. So do come if you can. And will I stop there, and do you want to speak with Rosemary? She's on the line, Chrism.
All right, here we go, and here's Rosemary. Hello, Rosemary.
Hello there, Chrism and Amelia. Hello. And I would just say very well spoken, Amelia, when we think about how that our journey is always our own journey, but there's a oneness that we have with each other, and to have that opportunity to affirm that and to be nurtured by it in a group under the leadership of our teacher, it's very profound and very touching, and unlike anything else that we can experience on this side. So ours is October 28 and 29 here in actually Mankato, which is an hour or so south of the cities. And we're working now, Joey Frost and Katie and I, we're working on the details of putting that together. And thank you, Chrism, again for our time today to look at that and see what's available, what we can do for the comfort of people coming to the cities to be in the seminar, and our own folks here too. So thank you.
And where did you know, Rosemary, what state?
State is Minnesota, Twin Cities, the town of Mankato, an hour or so south of the cities. The airport will be the Lindbergh Airport here in the Twin Cities. And my information is 651-329-9615, and also Rosemary G at usinternet.com will put you in connection with me about that, and I will get the information to you. Yes, thank you, Chrism.
Thank you, Rosemary, and thank you, Amelia. Thank you both for making those announcements. Okay, Amelia, I'm ready for any questions that you may have gathered.
Okay, Chrism. Well, the first one, these are from the group. I'm going to do a few from the group first, and it's short and sweet. And it says, can my Kundalini energy be mad at me?
No. It doesn't mean that you won't get corrected. It just doesn't have the ego to be mad at you the way the person perhaps is meaning. It's not like your mom in the sense that you won't get a spanking from it, and yet you will get corrected. And so, if you do get corrected that way, I mean, that's the hard thing, is that because it knows that you're coming from an ego perspective, sometimes it will adopt that perspective just to give you a teaching based upon the reference points that it knows you have. Okay, and so since it knows you have a very specific level of reference point for understanding the Kundalini in some way, is it mad at you? No, it's not mad at you. It's just correcting you and it's helping you. Believe me, I did everything wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I resisted the Kundalini to the nth degree, and as futile as that was, I was not cooperative at all. I was not cooperative. It came to me when I was a child. I've had the phenomena since, infancy, and I was not happy about it. It made me different from everybody around me. It frightened me all the time. And so for me to accept the physical awakening of this body, was very, very difficult. I did not, I had very little respect for it. I had more fear for it than anything. And it made life a very, very hard, frightening experience. And so for me to surrender to the cause of that hard, frightening experience, took a while. And she's very forgiving. She's very forgiving in those ways. And so she knew where I was coming from. And, this karma that I had of having Kundalini phenomena as, very, very young because of an awakening in a different life. She allowed me to suffer. She didn't punish me per se. She wasn't mad at me. She was patient with me. And, based on that type of an understanding, no, she doesn't get mad at you, but she still will teach you. And sometimes she will teach you in the ways that you're familiar with learning from a parent or from a mother or father, grandparents or aunt or uncle, somebody who has more knowledge than you do about a specific subject. And, if she does correct you that way, then pay attention to it, follow it, and do your best to work with it in the way that allows you to benefit from it. And but she won't get mad at you in the way that people do, per se. Over.
Okay, thank you, Chrism. I suppose that's our ego perspective too, isn't it?
Right,
that
right.
She's mad at us. Yeah.
Right. We're feeling guilt or we're feeling fear. We're feeling like we did something wrong.
Yeah.
And so, of course, because we feel like we did something wrong, therefore, Kundalini is going to respond just the same way our parents did or our teachers did or, whoever the authority figure in our lives did. And sometimes it will do something similar to that. But most of the time, it's just doing that for your own level of understanding rather than its level of expression.
Yes, and that, for me anyway, Chrism, when I began to understand that, it made a big difference to me because it changed my perspective on the correction that I was being given, I didn't see it in the same way anymore, and that's very helpful. I found
Correct.
it very helpful anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
So the next question is, there's two, it says, I cry when I hear a prayer, no matter what religion it is, and I'm not even religious. What is wrong with me?
Nothing is wrong. That's actually, that's the right thing to do. It's a sign of devotion. And it's also a sign of the unlimited quality of divine expression. I mean, one person is a Catholic, and the person in line at the grocery store is a Muslim, and the person behind the Muslim in the grocery store is a Buddhist, and the person behind the Buddhist in the grocery store is agnostic, and the person behind the agnostic person in the grocery store is a shaman. I mean, it is the 9 million pathways to divinity, and all of them are honored. And so, as a Kundalini person, you'll often hear a prayer, whether or not you're of that belief system, but you'll know that it is directed towards the God-Goddess equation of the divine expression on this world, and that literally will bring a person to tears of joy, tears of completion, tears of love, tears of devotion, tears of happiness, and tears of purity. To know truth is to know love, and to know love is to wrap the body in a blanket of extreme devotional reaction. And the body's typical reaction to that level of love and understanding and truth is through tears. Over.
And Chrism, a reaction like that when a person that isn't religious or that is, we say, very much into one religion begins to experience that, because that's not logical or linear. Isn't that like a communication from the Kundalini to the Kundalini is actually giving into the person, showing the person that divinity is in everything, is in all religions and all prayers. It's like the Kundalini shows us that when we have no clue. Again,
right.
My experience.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's amazing, isn't it? It's just amazing that she does that, that she just goes, listen, and the next thing you begin to experience that as a real revelation about what you just said, about, that God is in all religion. It's about divinity. Anyway.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Chrism, somebody has asked a question about how to forgive. I would like to learn how to forgive. I am Taurus, which is one of the signs. So once someone does a bad thing to me, it takes a life to forgive. And that's a direct quote from the group. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, the astrological sign has really nothing to do with it. Every astrological sign in the zodiac has to learn how to forgive. Just a second here. Forgiveness is a form of love, and so if you know how to give love to your favorite puppy or kitten or a brother or a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend, you know how to do forgiveness. Forgiveness is basically letting go of any kind of hurt that any action any action that may have caused you harm that another person gave you or that you gave to another person. So you forgive yourself. You say, oh, geez, I made a mistake, and I hurt Rosemary because I thought that she was just thinking this way when she was indeed thinking another way, and so I went off on her. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for that, Rosemary. Sorry. And then you call Rosemary up, and let me do that. And here's Rosemary here. She's on. And it's, oh, Rosemary, I'm so sorry for thinking about you that way.
Well, Chrism,
and of course, I get stony silence from Rosemary for a time.
yes, you caught me off guard here. I thought you were giving an example.
I was.
And yes, and
so yeah,
when it happens,
how do you forgive? How do you forgive, Rosemary? What do you do?
I do in my meditation, and I do what you direct us to do, to take paper, and it works. Is I have pages and pages several years ago that I started, and I write, I forgive you. The first one I remember was my brother-in-law, who died very suddenly in a work accident that could have been prevented. And so I said, Joe, I forgive you for leaving our family and your children, et cetera, et cetera. And in almost every case, I can think there's maybe one exception that was harder, but I immediately could think of things to thank him for. And it would go to, I thank you for your presence in our family all those years, and on and on. So I would write that, and then I would see forgive me for what I had, whatever I had done, and things I could think of as well, and I write those down. And then continuing to be listening to you and following things on Facebook, I realized a major cause of my needing to forgive people was because I have expectations of people. If I didn't have the expectations, then I would not have been offended by what they did. And so I've come to see that as forgive me for my expectations. I say that too.
Good move, Rosemary. Good move. Good discernment, too. Very nice. Very nice, my dear. So true. If you live in forgiveness, you don't have expectations. And if you don't have expectations, you're not going to be hurt by anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And Kundalini fosters an expression of not having the attachments of expectations as a large section of your life. To some degree, you know, the body itself has the expectation of being fed and being watered and being protected from the environment in such a way. But in our ego is where most of the expectations that we don't need to be weighed down with. That's where we can do a lot of our work. And I want to thank you, Rosemary, for outlining a couple of different ways that we can do forgiveness. Thank you, my dear. Okay. And, if you follow the safeties, Santara, you follow the safeties, and you do the recapitulation, and you write down, you know, I forgive so-and-so for what they did to me, and I forgive myself for doing to so-and-so what I did to them, and then you just basically let that go. And you're basically letting go of a pattern of revenge, a pattern of an eye for an eye, a pattern that goes back to infancy where you know, sometimes the practice is if somebody hits you, well, you hit them back even harder. And this way, as you forgive, you're able to step outside of that, you know, infantile response to any kind of a directed action against you or from you to another person. And so this is what we do. We do not allow ourselves to slip into low vibratory frequencies of density that insist that we follow the law of the jungle or the laws of an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth, things of that nature. Over.
And maybe if I could add something, Chrism, as well to what Rosemary said, you know, if I feel in myself an urge to not forgive, let's say I know somebody and, you know, an incident has happened, and let's say I just have an urge to not forgive. Well, you know, when I feel that there is justification, let's say, to not forgive, I can recognize, because of the teachings and because of what I have learned through the safeties, I can recognize that that's my ego and the psychological self, and the crucible of reversal works for me there. If I get this urge that there's justification to not forgive, I immediately recognize it and I very consciously begin to forgive.
Excellent approach. Excellent approach, Santara. Good.
Okay. The next question, Chrism, is about an OBE. How do you know for sure you are in an OBE dream? It feels different, but sometimes smothered. Is that enough of a? That's
So just so everybody knows what an OBE is, that means overbearing educator. Okay, that's what it means. Or maybe you could tell the audience what that acronym stands for.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure an OBE actually is something the Queen confers upon people too. But anyway, an OBE is an out-of-body experience in this context. So how do you know for sure you're in an out-of-body, in dreams?
Well, if you're directing the dream, if you have your full daytime conscious awareness with you while you're in the astral or the dream state, you can be fairly rest assured that you're inside of an out-of-body experience. Over.
Thank you, Chrism.
Yeah.
Next question. I think I have a fear, if I can call it that. I fear finding these entities, but I feel and know I'm meant to proceed in my process. Is that bad? It's like I know Kundalini keeps calling me, and every day it grows stronger and stronger. I read all the posts to see if I can find answers and, not seem naive about all of that. I'm good at the safeties, but I just fear starting meditations alone. What should I do, Master?
You should overcome your fear, and you should meditate alone. You should have trust that the Kunalini is with you and that you will not be harmed, nor will harm be caused to come your way. She wants you to step forward into her grace, even though she is allowing fearful concepts and projections and ideologies to be present within you and upon you as you take that step. You have to be stressed a bit in order to learn these higher understandings. You don't get to just crack a book and think that you're going to know everything. She's not even going to allow you to crack a book in this case. She's going to compel you to work on this and to work on it alone. Because that's when all this stuff happens, is when you're alone. And so you go into this with a strong level of trust, a strong level of strength that you get from having a strong level of trust. And you step into this understanding and you step in to these teachings and you allow yourself to be consumed by the levels of grace that are present within those teachings. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. I need your guidance about I'll have to spell it, Kayaakaipa, yoga.
Yeah,
I don't know how to pronounce it.
And they also put a ... after that, so they didn't finish it. It's a style of yoga.
Oh, okay.
But they haven't really. I want more information from them before I just start diddling around in their equation.
Okay, thank you. They wanted to see your videos as well, Chrism, but I thought maybe. Okay, thank you. After watching the movie The Green Mile, a black taxi appeared in my dream. It had a lady and a child who suddenly disappeared, and I was searching for them. Is this a coincidence?
A black what?
A black taxi appeared in my dream.
Taxi,
it had a lady and a child. T-A-X-I. Uh-huh.
T as in Tom?
Yes.
Oh,
taxi.
Okay.
Yes. Taxi cab. Yeah. Appeared in my dream. It had a lady and a child who suddenly disappeared, and I was searching for them. Is this a coincidence?
No, I think the taxi swallowed them. The taxi ate them.
Okay.
No, I'm not done.
I know.
Well, a black taxi would be a mechanism of Kundalini. She also comes in the form of black, so because she represents the earth, she also represents levels of density within the earth and upon the earth. And she also represents the color spectrum and color frequency that we're able to perceive with our eyes. And one of the most dense colors is black. and the taxi means it's a public transportation, and Shakti is herself a level of public. She is owned, and she owns everyone, and so public transportation to her is public transportation as per Shakti, and that there is a woman and a child in it, right?
A lady, yes, and a child, yes.
Is this a lady that's dreaming the dream?
No, it's a gentleman.
So this would be a direct communication of sacred femininity to this gentleman. This gentleman is being shown in his dream. Not only is the car dense and of the earth, but there's an old woman and a younger girl within the car, correct?
Well, a lady and a child.
Lady and a child, okay. That would also represent this sacred Shakti, the mother of Shakti. And so I feel that this person is being communicated to directly within the dream format, and he needs to pay attention. Over.
The fact that they disappeared and he was searching for them, Chrism.
Yeah, the fact that they disappeared, that he just needs to remember the dream and to honor the Shakti as the young woman and also as the older woman and also as the color black.
Okay. Thank you. And the second question from that gentleman is, I saw in my dream a person cutting my nails with a large scissors. The next day I was watching a movie, Samsara, about a lama who was in meditation for 3 years. He was in Satori, was shaken to waken up. His large nails were also cut by a lama with large scissors. Is this also a coincidence?
Was cut by a llama?
Lama. I'm assuming is some kind of a guru.
We're talking the South American camel-like creature?
Hardly, are we? I assumed this was perhaps an Indian name for a guru, but maybe, I don't know. It just says Lama.
Lama. Well, okay, we'll just assume it's a Tibetan.
The Lama, yes, because the Lama was in Satori, Satori. It's hardly the animal.
I would say that quite often the animal.
Yes. I realized that as it came out. Okay.
Just a second here. Wow, okay. Vicky Vaughn, all right. Vicky, I'll answer your question in a second here. Can you ask me that question again? Centaur is a little convoluted.
Yes, I saw in a dream a person cutting my nails with a large scissors. The next day I was watching a movie, Samsara, about a lama who was in meditation for 3 years. He was in Satori, was shaken to wake up. His large nails were also cut by a lama with a large scissors. Is that a coincidence between his dream and movie? Yeah.
No, I would say it's a teaching. It's a teaching for the individual that. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. What I'm being given is the teaching isn't so much about the actual act of cutting the nails, except it is. Cutting the nails represents taking oneself out of the type of meditation that would close them off from actively engaging the inner and outer worlds from a sleeping perspective, i.e. the lama that was in Satori also had his nails cut, and he was also shaken awake, like, come on, wake up, i.e. awaken the Kundalini, and then pursue your enlightenment through the interaction of being semi-divine upon a dense world structure. And I believe this person who dreamed that dream was also being given the very same teaching. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. Thank you.
And
There's two questions there.
Yeah, I got somebody here, Vicky. Why is Kundalini so complicated? It's only complicated, Vicky, because we are used to running our lives from the basis of the ego. And the ego, you know, even though it can be very convoluted as well and very, very complex and things of that nature, the ego tends to confuse or to manipulate the consciousness away from just surrendering to Kundalini. And it creates a lot of impediments. Karma steps in, and you know, as we are writing our karma from our past acts, karma comes in and adds a level of complication to it as well. As we do, so are we done by. And so as you follow the laws of karma can also make things a bit more complex than, say, somebody standing next to you might have. And so Kundalini itself can be very, very, very complicated or very, very simple. And even, let's just say, Vicky, that yours is very, very complicated right now. But as you just say you adopt the visualization that I gave earlier in the program of just walking on the base steps of the pyramid, all the way around the pyramid, and just being in contemplation and being in serenity, well, that is a very, very, very simple thing to do, and yet it has very, very profound levels of activity within the individual. And so what you might want to consider doing is choosing to understand the Kundalini from very, very simplistic understandings, very simplistic terms. Look at the word surrender. I surrender to my Kundalini. That can be extremely powerful, and yet it can also be complex, because you can't just say, I surrender to my Kundalini, and boom, it's all done, said and done. There's nothing else left to do. You're surrendered to your Kundalini, and you're going to move on through your life being surrendered to the Kundalini, and that means everything. But the ego may want to inject us. Well, okay, fine. I surrender the Kundalini, but not my car. Can't surrender my car to the Kundalini. Kundalini doesn't need a car. Why would I surrender my Kundalini to the car? It does not need a car. It is a God. It is a goddess. It doesn't need my car. So I can still have my car, right? Right? And my coffee. I have to have my coffee in the morning. Oh my God. If I don't have my coffee in the morning, I can't even get in the car. That I'm not surrendering to the Kunalini, because the Kunalini doesn't need the car. So it can get very complex. Whereas if you just surrender and let that be total and complete, it will make it much simpler. But you know, our ego jumps in and decides to try to control the whole thing, and that's where it gets very convoluted. And I'm going to go up a little bit here, and Vicky continues. She says, "Where does trust come in when visions of phenomena or entities come forth?" Well, first of all, you have the Kundalini, or you wouldn't even be able to in many cases perceive the phenomena or perceive the entities. Although some people without Kundalini can do that. You trust that your Kundalini is allowing you to see these things for very specific teachings. And the teachings, for the most part, at least the initial teachings, are to not fear, to not go into fear, to realize that the way you have been raised and the way you've been trained, the way you've been educated, is not the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. It has far more going into it. And I see that you say you have the fear. Well, you don't need to have the fear. You don't need to have the fear. And so if you trust the Kundalini more than you fear the visions or the phenomena that it brings you, those visions and phenomena will no longer have a charge of fear for you, because your trust and your surrender in the in the Kundalini is so strong. This is one of the reasons, like when I have a student, one of the first tasks they're given, and I think Amelia and Rosemary and Joey and other folks and Cole, I say surrender yourself. Surrender yourself completely. Surrender yourself to your teacher. And the only reason I say surrender yourself to your teacher is because I want you to get into the practice of surrendering at all. Because your teacher is controlled by the Kundalini. So if you surrender yourself to this corporeal person, first of all, you get through that whole fear of surrendering yourself to a corporeal person, which goes very much against the morality of the West. But it also begins to open you up to the idea and the understanding that you can surrender yourself totally, completely on a one-to-one personal relationship with your Kundalini, and this is huge. This is a huge thing. And so you don't need to fear, but you do want to trust. Trust the Kundalini with your life, because it is in charge of your life. And forget about entities. You know what to do with entities. You ignore them. And, visions and phenomena, they're not always bad. They just are outlining the idea and the understanding that the way you have learned in this world is not all there is. Science does not, answer all the questions. And because it's strange and because it can be, shocking sometimes, you'll go into fear. I know I did, and when I was meditating and had 30-foot long, 12-inch diameter steel pipes jumping around in the air. They were 30 feet long, huge. And the clatter was amazing. And then I got an 8,000 volt jolt go through the base of my spine and threw me down the driveway that I was meditating on. Well, that scared the heck out of me, believe me. There's no way I was going to meditate again after that one. Let me tell you, I was done with that. It's like, forget this. This is way outside of my reference. I'm in the deep doo-doo here. And it took me a while to get over that. And it took me a while to reestablish my trust. And so I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's important that you begin to trust. No matter what occurs, you start saying your mantra to the Kundalini. If you don't have a mantra to the Kundalini, Vicky, I will give you a mantra to the Kundalini. And that will hold power for you, my dear. That will hold power for you. And this will give you an opportunity to come out of fear. Fear really is not productive. It just gets in your way. And I'm going to continue with your you got to stop typing, Vicky. You keep pushing me. I got to go all the way back up here. Here we go. Vicky, stop typing. It pops you all the way back. Oh, thank you. Okay. And then how do you tell which is the right way? If you've been led to a teacher, then you can trust your teacher. If you've been led to a book, just by your what may seem like accidental, and it is representative of the noble qualities of love, forgiveness, tolerance, trust, honesty, the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of purity, surrender, loyalty. These types of noble qualities, you can trust that information, unless they're telling you to get rid of those noble qualities. That is the right way. You trust those qualities. And Vicky continues, she says, my whole life was turned upside down, and I am now just stepping back out in the work field again. And well, that is exactly where you need to be, Vicky. Don't worry about having Kundalini and being in the workforce. Yes, sometimes you'll be able to read people's minds, but you just keep it to yourself. Yes, sometimes you'll have kriyas. Sometimes you'll have those spasms. Sometimes you'll have electrical shocks. Sometimes, you'll be turned this way or told to do something. Don't type, Vicky, please. Don't type. It's gonna mess me up here. I'll have to lose my place all over again. There you go. All right.
Oh.
Here she's just typing away. Don't worry about being in the workforce. Being in the workforce is really, really a positive step because you are emitting a level of radiance that is a level of divine grace from you to around you. Nothing that you experience will not be orchestrated, will not have its basis in an orchestration by the Kundalini. So you can understand and you can trust that force is with you. You may have to figure it out a little more. You may have to go deeper into your surrender and say, my Shakti, what is it you're trying to tell me with this? There we go. I'm sorry. Somebody's going to call you, huh? Did you turn that down? I think Samsara's on the phone. Never mind.
I'm not.
Your phone is ringing, or it rang.
It didn't? Okay. I didn't hear anything.
No, because you didn't hear that. But anyway, trust the Kundalini more than you trust anything else, Vicky. That's the key issue. Now, if she has sent you to... Well, first of all, she's going to work on your ego. I'm looking at you now. She's going to work on your ego. She's going to work on the areas of where you feel you're strong and where you feel you're weak, and she's going to readjust those areas. And so you need to surrender to that. Devotion would be a very, very positive practice for you, Vicky. Start going into devotion to your Kundalini. By going into devotion, I mean giving love and appreciation and gratitude in many different ways, by how you treat other people, by how you treat yourself, by how you actively converse within your inner dialogue with the Kundalini, and how you actively converse with your outer dialogue with the Kundalini. So you get on your hands and knees and you say, I thank you, my Kundalini. I am appreciative of your presence in my life. I have gratitude for the grace that you are. I give myself to you completely and totally. I surrender to you, my Kundalini. And you just say that over and over and over and over and over, and you'll start to get it. You'll start to get it, Vicky. And I'm going to go over to Cole Kundalini now, and he says, could you explain a little bit about the different blood types and fulfillment of karma? There really isn't any kind of a differentiation with blood types. Perhaps some of the O negative people or the AB positive or AB negative people, they need to learn what it is to give to others. And because there are so few of those blood types there. And I'm talking about medical blood types. I'm not talking about this airy-fairy, well, you've got a blood type that is resonant of the Osiris star system. And no, it's not that. Okay, I'm talking about actual blood types that you work with in the medical community. And then you have the universal donors and things of that nature. And this may be a level of grace that you give to other people. And if you have the Kundalini active, typically I say don't share your blood. Don't give your blood, especially not to an outfit that is just there to make money off of your blood, like so many of the, blood centers of the Pacific and things, things like that. I would suggest that you go ahead and you give blood for somebody that you know that needs the blood. You give blood for a relative. You give blood for a friend. If you can give blood to an accident victim that you know, say, hey, I'm a universal donor, and I witnessed an accident. You're in this hospital. I'd like to give blood. They're learning about giving of the force of grace within themselves for the benefit of another person. This is good. As far as giving donating blood to a corporation, when I was working at the blood bank, they were making $400 a unit of blood, and people were just lining up out, and they still do. They line up outside to give that pint of blood, which is 1 unit of blood, and that company just made $400, and that was back in 2002. They're probably making $600, $700, $800 a unit right now, and it's pure profit. And yet we need it. We need to have people give blood so that those people who get in accidents or are traumatized in some way have the ability to and the time and the nourishment to get back on their feet again. And so there's a level of karma within that, and that develops the kind of karma that something really good just happens out of the blue for you. Your life is saved by a complete stranger as you saved the life of somebody that you're completely a stranger to. If I donate blood, and I have, and if I donate blood and my blood is used to save the life of that mother, then my karma is that, somewhere along the line, whether this life or the next, somebody completely out of the blue is going to do something to save my life. That's how the karma works. Okay? And let's see, he continues, are there specific blood types that the negative forces behind the scenes prefer to propagate into this world? No. And you don't want to believe anything that the negative forces tell you, Cole. The negative forces lie, and they lie some more. They never share power, and you can't trust anything that they're telling you. So don't believe what the negative forces are telling you, or your entities may be telling you about what negative forces do or what they prefer. No, blood is blood when it comes to the propagation of blood in this world. Blood helps people. And blood is also kind of like maligned in a way by these large corporations, telling people to give it, and then using it for their own purposes. So, there's that too. And I'm going to continue on here to Vicky. Vicky says, some of this is so amazing. And she says, I have fears. She says, I don't fear that I fear living in this world. Well, that's good. She says, I feel like I trust. And that's very good. And she says, I do. And she says, I have an entity in meditation. Oh, I have had an entity in meditation touch me, and my physical body went into spasm, seizure-like. But it felt good. Well, Vicky, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that say, well, if it feels good, just go right ahead and do it. I think that you ask the entity to keep their space and you keep your space, and you just focus on the Shakti, just focus on the Kundalini, and you don't need to worry about whether the entities touch you or not. The spasms, they may turn orgasmic. Let that occur. You probably won't have a choice at first. It'll automatically go into an orgasm. Nothing is wrong. You're not being taken over. Nothing like that is happening. But it's important for you to understand that nothing is happening to you that the Kundalini is not allowing to happen to you. Okay? And, that can be for a good, a pleasant lesson or not so pleasant lesson, but it's all necessary work for you to do. Okay? And that's the main action behind a teaching like that. Vicky continues. She says, but it felt good. I don't trust people. And people can be hard to trust, but you just might want to see people as little kids in grown-up bodies. And, like an 8-year-old, you don't necessarily trust an 8-year-old with flying the jet, but you don't hate them because they don't know how to fly the jet either. So you can trust them, but you trust them to a degree that you feel comfortable trusting them with. And then you might even push that comfort level a little further along the line. And I'll give you a mantra of Tivan I will give you a mantra if you private message me on Facebook, and I'd like you to keep the mantra private. Do not tell anyone. Okay, all right. So, please continue, Santara.
Yes, Chrism. Wow.
What's
Okay.
that?
I'm getting a huge backing of my own voice. Can I just check?
Yeah,
Is
go ahead.
it okay in the room, in the chat room?
Oh, yeah, you sound good on my end. We'll
All right, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so this is from somebody again on the group, and I'm going to read out their second question. They had asked the first question about Kriyas during meditation. So their second question was that I was thinking maybe yesterday was a once off. It wasn't. Lots of movement again, but less fluid. It would start rocking me forwards and backwards, then circular, side to side, and then stop. But this time, it pulled me far over to my left in a lean and left me there for ages. My question is, if I'm not to resist, how long do I let it continue moving me around? I had to go to work, or I had work to do, and I made a decision to come out of the meditation. Is this classed as resisting? What should I do in this situation, please?
Give it a couple of hours. And if you don't have work to do, give it all the time that it wants. Don't you try to control it. All of the movements that you mentioned are normal movements. They're all about the Kundalini. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. This is normal. This is natural. Your body knows how to have the Kundalini. It's only your ego that goes into fear over these new and strange movements and sensations. So just let those movements happen as much as you can. As I said, if you don't have work to do, let it have all day with you and all night. The sooner you get into this, the sooner that level will move into another level, and you won't have that much of a problem with it. Okay, but give yourself completely. Yeah.
So maybe, if you know you have to do work at 4 o'clock, don't begin that meditation at 3, but promise to do it at a time when you would have more time. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thanks, Chrism. Now the next question is, I currently have strong burning, like toothaches in the neck and head. This is a week so extreme, and on work I have great difficulties. If the Kundalini works so hard in the head, did you have more hair loss like me? This was a question asked on the group.
A person can have hair loss. That's not uncommon. What you need to do, though, you need to make sure that tongue tip is behind the upper front teeth. You need to have that tongue tip behind the upper front teeth as much as you're able to consciously put it there. Okay, and that will begin to stabilize what you're receiving in your teeth and also what you're receiving on top of your head. Don't be surprised if the hair goes away for a little bit. It will also come back. In some people, it grows the hair even more. Okay? So don't be disturbed. I know this is a disturbing thing because, we all live by the ego here in the West. We're living by the ego. Oh, how does my hair look, honey? Oh, it looks wonderful, darling. And, we base our self-worth on how good our hair looks, or our makeup looks, or our eyebrows look, or our lipstick, or our teeth, or whatever it is. And I know that the Kundalini will have a day with that. So don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. Just allow it to be. And also get good with yourself outside of the egotistic context. Over. And I've got another one from Manisha Santara. And Manisha writes, here we go. Don't type, Manisha, please. I have been on a plateau, and I think she's suggesting a Kundalini phenomena plateau for quite some time now. Healing detachment, a lot of not feeling deeply. Practice went down to almost nothing. Did not even feel like dancing much. But now, I'm doing the Tibetans every day, and I have started meditating again. This is not a question. Just wanted to share. I love you. I love you all. I think that's great. Centaur, I mean, no. You don't get to have that. No. I'll take you for a walk when I'm done. Thank you, honey. Okay. Yeah, so that just goes to show that if you keep practicing the safeties, that you'll climb yourself right out of that plateau. You know, those snowy peaks will show themselves, and you know, you'll redefine what it is you want to do, what you're ready to do, by virtue of being patient and not forcing things, but staying engaged and staying interested and staying surrendered, and just like Manisha said. And so I want to congratulate you, Manisha, for that. I think that's great. Continue, absolutely. Go ahead, Amelia.
Well, can you just say for people who might not know, Chrism, what is a Kundalini plateau?
A Kundalini plateau is where you don't, you know, it's like Vicky Vaughn here, is that she's at the beginning of some of her Kundalini phenomena. You know, she's being touched by an entity, she's got this or that happen, and all these things, and she's going to get used to those. You know, she'll become okay with that, and she'll get used to that, and it'll be like not a very big deal, you know, later on. And then all of a sudden, just as she gets used to everything, boom, it's all gone. She doesn't feel anything. She's not meditating, she's not doing the yoga, she's not doing the Tibetan, she's not doing the safeties, she's not doing anything. It's just gone. And because she's been used to it, and she's worked hard to lose her fear and her upset, you know, when such and such happens. Well, all of a sudden, there's no such and such. There's no phenomena. There's nothing. And you feel like one of the things, the questions I get quite often is, why is Shakti mad at me? She's not mad at you. You're just inside of a plateau. Now is the time to process what you've already been given. Now's that time. You use that downtime, that non-phenomena downtime, as a period of processing the information and the experiences that you've already given, so that you're ready, you're more prepared to meet the next level of teachings. And I feel that Manisha did this too.
Hello, everybody. My body is doing more and more intense, spontaneous mudras, as well as speaking in tongues, different languages. This is all quite new to me. I would appreciate some light on it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Blessings to all.
Just let yourself verbalize. Let yourself verbalize. It's like a spoken kriya in a way. It's not so much speaking in tongues as like the Christians like to put it. It's more speaking in Kundalini. Don't be surprised if you start making animal sounds too, like roars or grunting or hissing or you know, the kind of language that they use in Ireland. Don't be surprised.
Actually, she actually has a second part to the question. So I'm going to, she says, one more part, Chrism, you mentioned to allow it. So I also make noises like animal noises, and my tongue comes out. And there is a therapist who specializes in Kundalini syndrome that I'm seeing at the moment, and she keeps telling me to repress the movement and just imagine in my astral body that it's okay, or should I just allow it? I just want to know what my body, you know, yes. Could you?
The therapist is completely
mistaken.
The therapist is completely mistaken. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't really have Kundalini. You can tell that just by their response. Sticking the tongue out is the Kali, is the manifestation of Kali upon the individual, where the tongue goes way out and is held there for a little while. That's not bad at all. The animal sounds, it's all normal. They don't need a therapist at all, really. They just need to trust their Shakti, trust their Kundalini. They get out of the whole therapy thing. That's just classifying them as somebody who's sick or out of balance. And this is not the case with Kundalini. You let those
There's nothing
Kriyas,
wrong.
Yeah, nothing's wrong. You let the Kriyas manifest, and you go with them. You let them do what they need to do. And as soon as you surrender to them and allow them to do what they're going to do, they're going to gently fade away. You don't need that therapist. As a matter of fact, you don't need any therapist. Over.
Thanks, Chrism. I remember the tongue coming. The tongue, it's so strange and weird. And actually, it's such a part of the mouth, for me anyway, at the time. I mean, I wouldn't have used it in that way, and it's quite a strong thing, the different mudras or the different kriyas you might have, but for your tongue to suddenly start making movements and going in and out with sounds is quite disconcerting to allow. And so,
Especially
so to actually,
if you're working at the hotel front desk or you're a waiter at the restaurant.
Yeah. Or even if you're in your bedroom and the window is open and, then you start making sounds at the same time and you're going and you're sort of, it's quite a big thing to not go into fear it's a test, you must surrender. I can remember that very strongly, the tongue bit. But once you do it, it's exactly as you say, it happened again. And this time, I completely surrendered. And then that was kind of the end of that being such a strong mood kriya, But it's a weird one, Chrism.
Yeah, so this person just needs to surrender. They don't need a therapist. I suggest they get out of the therapy mill and start just staying at home, meditating, allowing the Kundalini to manifest through them as the Kundalini sees fit to do, and for them to take any kind of a control structure away from their interaction with the Kundalini and to surrender completely to it.
Yes.
Over.
Thank you, Chrism. Okay, so I'm just scrolling because I've gone in and out there and I've already asked that. 1 second, Chrism. And I've asked that. Oh, and I've asked that. Now, there was a question that I saw you answered. It's about somebody who called the Kundalini Her Majesty. At least that's how it began. He says, out of curiosity, Her Majesty and I had a conversation regarding angels. She said she could contact an angel to visit me, but I decided in my mind I don't want to invoke with angels. It may be some kind of fallen angel or some entity. She also said it's a divine angel, but it's better to keep myself safe in regards with entities. What are your thoughts? And then his second question.
Okay, let me answer this one first, okay?
Thank you.
I think he did the right thing. I think that typically the Shakti doesn't come up to you and say, oh, I can connect you with an angel, because Shakti is what created the angels. So you don't need to, there is no need for a middle entity in order to protect yourself. All you need to do is trust the Kundalini. And so this gentleman made the very, very appropriate and very astute choice in not jumping for that bait, not falling for that trap. And furthermore, he makes the right choice in beginning to question the quality of the guidance that this supposed Her Majesty is giving him. And in subsequent advice, I told him to really, really look at whether that entity that's calling itself Her Majesty is worthy of your trust, is worthy of your surrender. And if you don't feel it is, don't think that it is the Kundalini, because the Kundalini doesn't need to go outside of itself to protect you. It doesn't need to call in an angel. That's like God, asking for help. God doesn't need help. Okay? God does not need help. Certainly not help from an entity that's calling itself Her Majesty. Oh, my God. So there you have it. Go ahead. Over.
So the second part then, is, since I'm possessed, assuming that this is the case and that he has decided this from your conversation, I didn't read it all. How can I identify the Kriyas? Does holding the head, twisting it, is holding the head, twisting left to right a Kriya?
Resist the Kriya and see if the entity tries to punish you for resisting the Kriya.
Oh, resist it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So don't do the Kriya and see what occurs.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And so if it was an entity, would there be a different response than if it was Kundalini Chrism?
Yes.
Or do you have to just wait and okay?
You have to discern.
Discern, yes. Next question. How long does the sensitivity to cosmetics and scent last? Is it permanent? How did it go for anybody? This is on the group. How long does it last?
It could be permanent. We're going for purity here. We're going for purity of mind, of body, of soul, of ego, of spirituality. And cosmetics and many of these things that are tested on animals, that are there just to prop up the ego in some way, these may not be tolerated by the Kundalini very well at all, and she may make them very uncomfortable for you. May even give you a rash if you put them on. And this goes on like, coloring your hair or, piercing your body in some way or, putting a tattoo on you, you know what I mean, Kantara?
No, I've no clue, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yes, it may make you very, very sensitive to these types of things, and you just don't get to placate your ego anymore that way. You have to stop. You have to change. Over.
Thank you, Chris. The next question, there's two parts to the question. The first part is, once a negative entity or an energy attaches itself directly to a shadow aspect of the psyche body, how do you identify the specific corresponding action, event, attitude, or behavior that is allowing it to be there?
Well, you recognize it by the expression of the negative activity that the entity will promote within you. So it will try, if it's attaching itself to the shadow aspect of you, well then you can expect an engorgement of negativity from the entity into that shadow activity, whatever it is, stealing or hurting or negative self-dialogue, whatever it may be.
Okay.
That's how you know that it's doing that, because it will happen in a far more a far stronger level of expression. If you typically get angry at somebody cutting you off on when you're driving your car, And he's just like, oh my gosh, that guy cut me off. It's like, but then when the entity gets involved, the guy cuts you off, you go, oh my God, I'm gonna kill you! And you follow them home.
Oh, God. Well, then you know.
Then you know.
Okay. The second part is, once you know what it is, what has been your process for healing this particular ailment? Like, have you asked for just forgiveness? And to provide a further context, the person says, I have an attachment that I think corresponds with the previous pornography addiction. I think this will help many people in their personal process of clearing and healing debris and toxicity.
Yeah, absolutely. You can say that. That will work. That will work. And I forgive myself for engaging in that pornographic experience. I forgive those people that are producing and providing the visual acting and stimulus within the pornographic experience. I forgive our society for promoting pornography as an expression of normalcy within our society. And, you can just start doing your forgiveness all the way around it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Over.
Okay, thank you. Now the next part is something you wrote, and then there's a question. So I'd like to read what you wrote. It's about 3 sentences. Chrism wrote, when Kundalini is done, the body no longer exists. We do not choose our own ascension, unquote, Chrism. Oh, no, sorry. As Kundalini transforms the physical form is lightened. As the physical form is lightened, all forms connected to it are also lightened. As this enlightenment continues, the total physical structure moves out of phase. Out of phase is out of the physical reality and into the next. Oh, that wasn't you. I'm sorry, Chrism.
It was me, actually.
The question
that was
is,
me.
Yeah, the question.
That was me.
Thank you, Chrism. I knew it was, but then anyway, it sounded like you, but then I had a different thing after. Anyway, the question that was asked is, what do you mean by the body no longer exists? And I think, I got that question.
Well, it's vibrating at a frequency that is taking it outside of the physical reality and into a less dense, higher spinning state. That's what going out of phase means. It means you go out of phase with the frequency that the atomic structure that makes up your body is vibrating with. And as you go deeper and deeper into levels of spiritual union, as you go deeper into that union, your frequencies change. As your frequencies change, they become less of an expression in this physical world, unless, of course, there's a karmic retention being given to it. As your frequencies become faster and faster and faster, the densities that comprise the physical reality fall away. And as you fall away, your body no longer exists physically. Now, if the person is given the opportunity to decrease the vibratory rate of their physical being, come out of ascension, then they can interact with people, but it's very painful to do that. It's hard to do that because the whole purpose of consciousness and life is to bring one closer and closer and closer to the divine context. To go backwards like that can be somewhat of a challenge for an individual. And remember, as you go out of phase with the physical properties and the physical vibratory expression, you also go out of phase with attachment. You go out of phase with expectation. You go out of phase with being attached in any way, shape, or form to the physical reality. So it's not like you're missing it. It's not like you're going, oh God, I've gone out of phase I'm closer to God. And it's like, oh God, I miss all that traffic on Interstate 5. I just, oh, where are my Twinkies and my Ding Dongs? Where's my coffee? I can't do anything. I can't have my coffee. You're not missing it. So there's no need to go back.
It's okay. Okay. Oh, I love it. Thank you.
I just got to say, just as an aside, I have to say that the coffee and the caffeine thing is only there so that the adrenals and the kidneys and the neural systems can become transformed by the Kundalini. On the one hand, she'll keep you off of the caffeine. On the other hand, for some of you, you can go back to the caffeine after 5 or 6 years. So it's not a lifetime. I mean, I can have a cup of coffee right now, and it's not going to hurt me at all. But during my transformative stage, when the kidneys and the adrenals and the neural systems are being changed, wow, there's just no way you could have it, or you would want it, or it would be good for you at all. So just an FYI, I tend to keep wanting to repeat that because people are so addicted to caffeine. Over.
Thanks, Susan. I just have a question. It's not formal, so I'm just thinking it up here now, or I'm forming it to ask you. It's about karma, and it would be about, say, an adult child, say an adult in their 20s that's living at home, and for this person who's actually real, but for this person, they're in a situation where they're not being treated very well at home. The parents are giving favor to other people, to cousins, before their own adult child. And there's a lot of resentment and hate being felt for the injustice of all of this, blah, blah, blah. It's a big complicated story. But I mean, basically, my question is, Chrism, that has occurred surely for karmic reasons. There's karma in it. So does one run away from that? Or does one stay and change the response?
They need to leave the home. Karma is pushing them out of the nest. Yeah.
Okay, so they wouldn't stay and change their hate or become forgiving in the context of what? No. No,
the push out is kind of occurring to the parents to do that as a karmic necessity for that individual to leave the nest. The individual is resisting leaving the nest.
Yes.
And the individual karmically needs to leave the nest. And so, so there's going to be a lot of divisiveness until that person gets the clue.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very clear.
Then later on, then the healing begins. As they find their way in the world, as they stabilize, then the healing begins. And it will.
Thank you, Chrism. That's helpful.
Yes.
And the next question, how are we doing for time? We're okay. Why is the aura of an awakened person large?
Well, the more light you put into a light bulb, the stronger wattage or that you put into a light bulb, the brighter the light. And so with Kundalini comes an extremely amplified level of light into the individual physical and energetic anatomic package. So the more light put into that energetically, how should I say it? The more light put into the energetic anatomy, the more powerful that auric expression is going to be.
Thank you. And the last question. Buddha was Kundalini awakened. He left his wife, son, and kingdom to find the cause of human suffering. Did he find the cause? There you go.
First of all, I'm not buying the fables of Buddha. I'm not buying that he was this or that he was that. I think people have kind of made this up, and I think some of these stories about Buddha, just like Christ and just like some other gods and goddesses, are borrowed from previous cultures, like the culture of the Ahura Mazda, or the culture of the Sumerians, or the culture of these ancient cultures that no longer are in use, shall we say, but their literature and their teachings are still in use, just under a different name. It's kind of like wearing recycled shoes, right? So I don't agree with the premise. Did he find the source of human suffering? No, I don't think he did. The source of human suffering goes beyond the human form. It goes beyond the Adamic structure of the male-female Homo sapien. The source of human suffering goes into the spiritual. And it's the spiritual and the karma attached to the spiritual which causes human suffering. And it is through the refinement that the suffering brings, that brings on the levels of enlightenment that humanity ever strives for, just like insects to a light. The human suffering is necessary for human enlightenment. The source of it is to not be enlightened, and the need to become that way. Did he discover that? Maybe, if he awakened his Kundalini. But that is the source of human suffering. It's the lack of light engaging the gift of light. In light, in meant. Over. Go ahead. You have a question?
Whoa, no, I don't. But that was very profound, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakti. Thank you, Shakti, because that question went out there, and I just, my eyes just closed, and she went into the Ahura Mazda and the Sumerians and the Babylonians, and we went back even further into why people have bodies at all. What's the source of suffering? Well, it's the bodies, it's the mind, it's the ego, it's all these things mixed. Well, how come people have that? And she said it's because they're not enlightened. They want enlightenment, just like every creature on this world wants to become. Anyway, last words.
And last words. Okay, so I suppose I just probably would like to say to Vicky, I can relate to some of the stuff she says. And for me, I know that anxiety was caused by my ego's need to know. And that ego isn't going to know, and ego can't know. And, the fear, I remember in my process, Chrism saying to me, Amelia, fear is a choice. And I'm going, of course it's not a choice, I can't help it. But he was going, it is a choice, and that you have to realize that you have a choice to not to go into fear. So Vicky, that was very profound for me back then when I thought about it, and I meditated on it. So so that's all. I just wanted to say that. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for those in the future, the archival people reading the archives, listening to the archives. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.